Despite Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving only playing 28 games together this season, the Dallas Mavs sit 9 games above 500 and now look like a team to beat in the Western Conference. This team is a winner of 6 straight games, has a net rating of 17.3 in that stretch, and pulled off a masterful trade deadline that bolstered their front court while also putting them in a great position to make a deep run in the Western Conference. In this video, we're going to talk about all things Dallas Mavs, from just how good they've been playing right now, how good Kyrie Irving has been since his return from injury, Luka Doncic's improved defense, yes, we're going to talk about that, and why this team is a serious contender out west. Before we begin, be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a tremendous difference for the channel, and be sure to sub to the channel for even more content like this. In the second season of the Luka Doncic-Kyrie Irving experiment, we've been reminded of just how good this duo has been when they've seen the floor together. Last season, the Mavs had the best offensive rating in the league, were the best three-point shooting team in the entire league, and were bottom 10 in turnovers committed when both of them shared the floor. And this season, the Mavs have an offensive rating of 122.6, a defensive rating of 113.7, and a net rating of plus 8.9 when they've shared the floor, which beat the best offensive rating in the league and a top 10 defense. Luka and Kyrie are extremely difficult duo to tame, as they're two of the best offensive powerhouses in the entire league. Luka Doncic is generating the most points per game ever when you combine points scored and points from assist, and is averaging 19, 5, and 5 in the first half alone. And Kyrie Irving is one of the most skilled guards we've ever seen, who's a very adaptable co-star. Luka is shooting an insane 75% within 5 feet of the basket and a career best 38% from 3. Kyrie is shooting 62% within 5 feet of the basket and is shooting a great 41% from 3. And when you acknowledge Kyrie's ability as a dynamic off-ball scorer, you can clearly see why they can play well off each other. We'll continue on these two more a little bit later, as I want to get into how well the Mavs have played as of late, and how Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington affect their playoff hopes. Over the last 6 games, the Mavs are 6-0 and have a net rating of 17.3 in that stretch. Not only that, the Mavs had the best defensive rating in that stretch at 102.5, limiting opponents to just 41% shooting and averaging 6.3 blocks a game. Additionally, the 6-game stretch included a blowout win against the second-seeded OKC Thunder. They limited the Thunder to just 39% shooting and 111 points, and scored 146 points on 58% from the field and 40% from 3 in the process. With respect to their defensive dominance, Maxi Kleber's return for sure has a role in this, as his versatility as a switchable 5 has aided the Mavs in Dereck Lively II's absence. And by the numbers, the Mavs had a defensive rating of 107.3 with Kleber on the floor in February, and an overall net rating of 18.4. But another player we need to highlight defensively is actually Luka Doncic. Luka's making great effort in what has been the best defensive performance of his career, being statistically the 10th best isolation defender in the league and the 2nd best post-up defender in the league. He's also 7th in the league in steals per game and is averaging 8.1 defensive rebounds per game, preventing opponents from getting more offensive opportunities. At the NBA trade deadline, the Mavs were absolute winners in acquiring both Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, both of whom have been big factors on both ends of the floor. Dereck Lively has been a sensational rookie for this team, with the vertical spacing he provides, his rim protection, utilization in the pick and roll, and his underrated ability as a quick decision maker. He's a breath of fresh air for the Mavs because Luka didn't have this partnership at the center position. Now, the Mavs will have 2 solid rim running options at the 5 with both Lively and Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford was never going to get a ton of praise since he spent the past few seasons on losing Washington squads. But with a 7'2" wingspan, he plays much bigger than his listed height and can be a very impactful piece. He's an athletic big that runs the floor well, hustles hard, finishes well, and he's shooting 68% from the field this season while protecting the paint with 2 blocks a game. It's only a sample size of just 3 games, but with the Mavs, he's averaged 15 points, 12 rebounds, with 4 of those being offensive, and 2 blocks a game. Gafford has only played 1 playoff series in his career, but he was sure to leave his mark, averaging 12 points and 6 boards, and 2 blocks on 85% from the field. PJ Washington is another player who wasn't going to get enough shine in Charlotte, but he's a good athlete who provides great size in the front court with a 7-foot wingspan, can be adaptable in smaller lineups, and ultimately brings flexibility as a double-digit scorer on the wings who can score well in the paint. The Mavs have other high-performing role players this season that can complement the play of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and make them dangerous in the NBA playoffs. Josh Green has developed year by year as an ideal wing next to Luka and is having a good season, shooting 49% from the field, 41% from 3-on-4 attempts a game, shooting 70% within 5 feet of the basket, and playing great perimeter defense. Derrick Jones Jr. is yet another player using his 7-foot wingspan to his advantage and being a versatile perimeter defender, and Dante Exum has had quite the comeback story in the NBA, playing in Spain and Serbia over his last 2 seasons, but making the absolute best of his return to the league. Finally, Tim Hardaway Jr. has to be among the leading candidates for 6th Man of the Year, being the 3rd leading scorer on the team at 17 a game while shooting 37% from 3. But in the playoffs, you can normally only go as far as your best players can take you, and the Mavs have 2 sensational performers in both Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. The discourse on Kyrie may range greatly for obvious reasons, but when it comes down to his pure basketball ability, he's easily up there with some of the best the league has to offer. He's averaging 26 points a game this season, along with 6 assists and 5 rebounds, and he's doing this on an ultra-efficient 49% from the field and 41% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. As stated before, he's an insane scoring threat on and off the ball, is averaging 29, 6, and 6 on 51% from the field and 44% from 3 on 8 attempts a game over his last 15 games, and we've obviously seen just how good of a playoff riser he can be. Then there's Luka Doncic, who based off his play this season is without a doubt in the running for best player in the league and should have a strong case for MVP. He's going to make at least All-NBA first team with his mind-boggling averages of 34 points, a career-best 9.5 assists, 8.8 rebounds, and 1.4 steals on 49% from the field, and a career-best 37.5% from 3. He's playing the best defense of his career as well. We all know just how good of a playoff all-time great he can be, averaging 33, 8, and 9 for his playoff averages through 3 campaigns, and trailing only Michael Jeffrey Jordan for highest points per game in NBA playoff history. The Western Conference is absolutely no joke, with the Nuggets and Clippers looking like elite threats, with the T-Wolves and Suns looking like high powers, and with even the Lakers and Warriors combining for a 15-5 record over their last 20 games. However, the Mavs have the floor spacing, improved defense, and a top-of-the-line duo that can make noise in the Western Conference, and I can't wait to see what they'll do come April. With that being said, be sure to comment down below your thoughts on the Dallas Mavs and your predictions for them in the postseason. Is this team good enough to hang with the top of the top, or are Denver, LA, and others just that good? Let me know in the comments section down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a tremendous difference for the channel, and be sure to sub to the channel for more content like this. Hope to see you all in the next one, and stay tuned.